Hello and welcome to my home. Today I'm going to talk about how to transition from your summer container garden to a fall winter garden. It's not rocket science, it's very easy to do, but before we go there I want to let you know I have other types of videos on my channel. I have easy to prepare recipes, product reviews, meditation videos, and other videos on how to grow vegetables in containers. So let's talk a little bit about transitioning to your fall garden. One thing I like to do when I'm transitioning from my summer garden to my fall is to try to free up pots and containers and to see which of my summer plants look like they're at the end of their life cycle. So you want to assess where your plants, how your plants are doing, and if those summer ones can now be pulled up and disposed of. So for example, this is an example of a plant that is almost ready to be pulled up, but not quite. So I can't free this pot up yet. I'm going to show you one that is. Now here's an example of a tomato plant that is worse for wear. There's no more tomatoes except a few little green ones, and I'll pull those off and fry it. But this tomato plant is at the end of its life cycle, and this tells me it's time to pull that up and reuse that pot if I want to for something else for my fall garden. So you're looking for plants that are no longer producing, that are looking beat up, just not looking well. You know that it's time to pull that plant up. This one, on the other hand, even though it looks worse for wear, it still has tomatoes that are trying to ripen. As you can see right here, and there's several tomatoes that's still, and several in the back. So even though the leaves are looking rough, there's quite a few tomatoes. So I am not going to disturb this plant. This is one I'm going to let keep growing, and I won't be able to get a hold of this big white pot quite yet. But that's what I look for when I'm determining which of my summer plants can be pulled up and the pot be reused. The next thing you want to do is determine if the soil is still good, your potting mix. So if you can sort through your potting mix and get all the roots from the previous plant out, and I don't use my potting mix for more than 2, maybe 3 seasons, then I will keep that potting mix and just amend it with a little bit more fresh potting mix and some fertilizer. But if it's looking dry and crumbly and there's just too many roots in it, it's just not worth saving. So I throw that soil out. Actually, I'll take that soil and sprinkle it around my trees so that it doesn't go to waste. Now this is a good pot with a lot of good potting mix that's still useful in there, so I'm going to keep that as it is. And you need to see if you need to buy any more potting mix. After you assess how many pots you're going to use, look to see if you have any potting mix left. If not, you need to buy some. Same for your fertilizer. If you're down to the little corner, the vast little corner of your fertilizer bag or box, then you should go and buy some more fertilizer to get you through the fall and winter season. Next, seek out plants that will grow, vegetables that will grow within your zone and your time frame that you're trying to plant within. There are certain vegetables that you can plant that take 65 to 75 degree weather, and then you got others that will take cooler weather, and you got some that will take 75 to 80 degree weather, 85 degree weather, that you can kind of work into your garden if you're starting to plant it in late August, September. So for example, there are certain types of bush beans that you can start in August and September and take advantage of some of the remaining warm weather, but you have to look and determine how many warm days you have left, and that will also help you in your transition. Then you want to look at when should you start your cooler weather crops, like your kale and your greens, your turnips, and the second round of lettuces. And when you plot that out, you're going to need to know your frost dates And I have a video on frost dates if you want to check that out. But all that is about timing. So you need to know how many days you have left before your frost date, what type of weather conditions are needed for the plant or the seeds you're trying to grow, and how many of those days that fall within that preferred temperature for that plant. So for example, if you're in September or October, you're not going to be able to plant tomato seeds in many parts of the country. You're just not going to be able to do it. Tomatoes are a warm weather plant. So those are the types of things you need to look out for. Timing, types of seeds, and seeds suitable for your zone and for the time frame you're trying to plant within. I do like some of the beans, like the tender bush green bean, because they can mature in 60 days, and that's something that you can throw into the ground in August, September, and depending on, again, when your frost date is, even in parts of the country in October. So it's always good, again, to know your time frames for your frost dates and how many days you have left of warm, and how many days do you have until you have cool weather. And for your cool weather plants, know what the ideal temperatures are for the cool weather plants. Now, most seed packets will tell you the ideal temperature range for those plants, so you'll have that in hand when you're picking out your seeds. You can also go to the Old Almanac on the Old Almanac website and look at the different temperature ranges for your area, so you can make good, sound, educated guesses on what plants and seeds you should grow. I'm just panning around. I also like to grow flowers, but that's short and simple, and it's not complicated transitioning from summer to a fall crop, because you're going to need fertilizer, you're going to need your containers. Always use containers with drain holes, unless you're using these types of pot right here that are that kind of cloth, porous type material. And get the seeds for your area, and the seeds that are going to grow the vegetables that you and your family like to eat, and maybe experiment a little. Fall is a nice time to plant. There's not as many bugs, of course it's not as hot, and it can be a little more pleasant to get out into the garden. So those are my tips for you. If you like that video, hit the thumbs up like button, and consider subscribing to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I've uploaded a new video. That's it for now. Bye bye.